Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. For anyone who celebrated Easter, happy Easter. Hopefully you had some time with family and friends this weekend and were able to rest and maybe even just enjoy yourself with making good memories. I know my kids and I did an Easter egg hunt. We went to dinner with my dad and grandma. We visited a new church. It was fun. We had a really great weekend. So I hope you guys did too. I'm excited to be here with you this morning because I want to talk about the continued conversation around the loudness of the internet versus how you are positioned and how you stand out. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And let's just say it out loud. The online space is loud. Everyone is posting, everyone is selling, everyone is trying to get your attention for something. And most of it sounds exactly the same. It just does. So if you've been feeling like you're showing up but not getting traction, or you're posting but not converting, or maybe it's like you're doing what you're supposed to do consistently, you're just not seeing anything move in a positive direction or in any direction. And chances are you're not the problem, unless you're not doing anything. But chances are you're not the problem, but the strategy might be. And that's what we want to talk about today. Let's fix that together and make sure you're all ready to go for this second quarter. Now, standing out is not about posting more. It's not about being louder. It's not about going viral. And it's definitely not about following trends. That's what everyone else is doing. And if you want to stand out, the way you do that is through clarity, conviction, and consistency. So let's talk about those three C's. um, Everything sounds the same. Today, we're going to walk through why everything sounds the same and the three reasons you might be blending in, even if you're good at what you do, and how to actually stand out in a way that drives clients, not just engagement, but overall buy-in. So my dog is here to say hi. With everything sounds the same, let's diagnose the real problem. So the reason the online space feels loud is because it's not actually diverse, it's duplicated. So most business owners are unintentionally doing three things. They're echoing marketing, like they're creating content based on what they see working instead of what they know to be true. So the cycle might look like this. It might be like you see a post perform well, you recreate a version of it, slightly tweak the words, and then repeat. And now we have 500 versions of the same idea, right? So just stay consistent, show up even if it's hard. Your dream clients are waiting for you. None of those things are wrong, but they are completely interchangeable. And when your message could belong to anyone, it converts for no one. And so the second problem that I see is the generic value. So people are taught to provide value, but no one defines what that actually means, right? So value becomes like tips, lists, surface level advice. But here's the shift. Generic value informs where specific value converts. So for example, there could be like 5 ways to improve your marketing. It's kind of boring. Or if your content isn't converting, it's usually one of these three things. It's unclear audience, weak positioning, or no defined offer. So now we're diagnosing and not just teaching. And that is an important skill set here to move out of the generic value and into something more specific that will convert. And the third problem that I see is no messaging ownership. So this is a really big one. Most business owners have not slowed themselves down enough to decide what they stand for, what they stand against, and what they want to be known for. So their messaging tends to float. And when your messaging floats like that, the audience doesn't anchor to you. And so differentiation between it is we want to stand out in a way that is impactful, but is a framework, something that we can repeat without repeating the message. So to stand out, your message needs clarity, which is, I understand exactly what you do. No questions, like I understand. And then there's specificity, which is, I feel like you're talking to me. And then there's conviction. I believe you mean what you say. If one is missing, you start to blend in. So clarity, specificity, and conviction. Now, the three reasons you're blending in, possible reasons, is you might be getting in your own way. So let's talk about it. Now, I know this is personal, and if you're feeling, you're listening with me live, hi. Because this isn't about people online. This is where you might be getting in your own way. You're too broad. You're trying to reach everyone, so no one feels like you're speaking directly to them. Specificity will help create connection. The who problem moment is a framework that you can use. So instead of saying like, I help women grow their businesses, which is accurate and good, you would break it down to who specifically, problem, what exact issue, not all the issues, the issue, and then moment, when do they feel it the most? So an example could be like, I help establish women CEOs who are consistently showing up, but not converting, fix their messaging so their content actually drives sales. I kind of stumbled through that, but now someone can hear what you're saying and thinks that is either me or it's not me, but they pre-qualify themselves before you have to do any other work. So the first reason is you might be too broad, and the framework to help fix that is the who, problem, moment framework. Who specifically, what is the exact issue, the problem, and then the moment, when do they feel it? Now, the second reason might be that you're playing it too safe, and this one might sting a little bit. If your content never risks disagreement, it also never builds authority. So a point of view framework, which is something that's trending right now, but is also very impactful, is you can fill in this sentence. Most people blank, but I believe blank because blank. So I'm going to put this in the chat, in the comments for you, as the POV framework, the point of view framework. I'm going to drop this in the comments. And if you're following along with me, I highly recommend looking at this framework and going, okay, how does this work for me? Most people believe you need to post every day, but I believe you need a clear message first, because consistency without clarity just creates noise. That's an example. Most people believe more visibility equals more sales, but I believe better positioning does, because the right message converts faster than more content. That's how authority is built. Now, reason 3 is you're focused on your content instead of your strategy. And that's really easy to do, because strategy is the planning, where content implementation is the implementation, right? It's the doing, and it can feel more productive to do than it does to plan. Now, the problem with that is you don't need more posts, you need better direction. And without strategy, you just repeat yourself. You second guess everything that you're writing or drawing or designing. And you chase trends hoping that something will catch fire. And so with strategy, you know what to say, you know why it matters, and your audience starts to trust you, which is so incredibly important. The message house framework that every brand should have should be a core promise, 3 message pillars, and proof. So what are those things? Let's talk about them for a second. So the core promise is, what transformation do you create? That's your core promise. So it's your main transformation. What transformation do you create? Three message pillars or three areas of focus would be, what do you consistently talk about over and over and over? And then proof is, why should people trust you? So let me give you an example. So promise would look like, help women CEOs move from confusion to clarity. That's the transformation we promise. From confusion to clarity, confusion to clarity. The pillars are strategy, messaging, community. Those are the three things you absolutely have to have in order to be successful as a business owner. And if you don't have those things, you might be accidentally successful, but for a business that wants to grow and scale strategically, you need these: strategy, messaging, and community. And then proof is client results, testimonials, experience, so on. So now your content isn't random, it's aligned. And that's a strategy. You want to have a strategy for your content. You want to make sure that what you're doing every day builds connection and trust between you and your audiences. So define your core promise. What transformation do you create? What are your three areas of focus, your messaging pillars? What do you consistently talk about? And proof. Why should people trust you? Now, if you're in the proof section of whatever it is that you're working on and you don't have your proof in an Excel spreadsheet or some kind of way to access a variety of reviews and that kind of content, I highly recommend getting yourself organized there, because it's really a lot better for you to be able to go, oh, I have 30 testimonials and reviews that were spread out on 4 different platforms. Now I'm going to use those through all of my social content development and my newsletter. And that helps build social proof without repeating testimonials all the time, but allows you to have real life stories that help build brand trust between you and your audience. Now, how you actually stand out. This is where we build, because clarity without action does not change anything. So if we have the clarity, hooray, then we need to actually go do stuff. And that's the part where the doing can get very overwhelming and can also be very underwhelming. So it gets put on the back burner, depending on what you focus on in your business. If your marketing is something that you're avoidant towards, this might be something that's suffering in your business, so it might need some attention. Now, you want to make sure that you have your one-liner. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is one of the most important things, is you've got to be able to tell people what you do in one sentence, one breath. So for the CEO Woman, ours is, we help women business owners. Oh, my brain just blanked. We teach women business owners the how-to of building sustainable businesses. So we have a we help, we teach, we whatever, statement to a specific person, women business owners, to grow and scale, teach them the how to grow and scale their businesses. So how is we solve a problem so they can grow and scale their businesses without common frustration, right? Without stumbling. So the formula, I'm going to stick here. This is your one-liner formula right here. I'm going to put this in the comments for you. One-liner formula. If you're scientifically minded, I hope you like my frameworks and formulas. I love these. They make my life so much easier. So I help, this is the specific person, solve a specific problem so they can specific results without common frustration. One sentence, put it all together, write it all out. Some other examples would be like, I help service-based women CEOs clarify their messaging so they can consistently convert clients without relying on constant content. Or I help overwhelmed business owners simplify their marketing so they can grow without burning out. Whatever it is that you do, it needs to be clear and concise, and it needs to be something you say in one breath. So practice it, write it out, take the time. It's worth it, I promise. Now, you want to define your edge as well. So you need something that makes people kind of like lean in. And this is where you get to like call to action, call method. So it could be, or call out or call up. So call out the problem and call up the opportunity. So for example, you don't have a visibility problem, you have a clarity problem. And until you fix that, more content won't help you. This is a really important part because it helps you get them to go, oh, I've not thought of that. And that's what we're looking for them to do is that builds trust. Oh, you're giving me something that I've not considered, and now I can use that to fix a problem in my business. And then the third thing is you can create a content filter. So before you post, ask, does this align with my overall message? Does this speak to my audience? And does this reinforce what I want to know, what I want to be known for? So earlier we talked about figuring out what you believe and what you align with in order for you to get clarity on your strategy. And this is where that kind of comes in. Is before you post, you need to be very, very clear on your message, your audience, and what you want to be known for. And if when you're writing or about to deliver a piece of content, if it doesn't align like this, I wouldn't post it. It's not going to be worth the time, energy, and effort. It's going to flop and it's going to be misaligned for your audience. You should post things with intention. That's more important than the quantity. Now, repetition with depth is like standing out is not about new ideas. It's about saying the same core message better and better and better. So in order for you to do that, you need to know what your core message is. So core message is like clarity drives conversion. So content angles for clarity drives conversion could be educational. It could be story-based. It could be point of view. It could be call to action. But content angles, whatever one you take, can vary based off of what channel you're on and who your audience is. So as an example, so clarity drives conversion. If I took a content angle of an educational approach, I could say 3 signs your messaging isn't clear. If I take it from a story perspective, I can say a client was posting daily, but not converting. This kind of makes people lean in. The point of view is consistency without clarity is why you're stuck. That's my point of view, right? Point of view. And call to action. If your message isn't converting, here's your next step, giving guidance on how to reach what they're trying to reach. Now, if your audience has to work to understand you, they won't. I know. I hate that for you too, and for me. So if your message is clear, specific, and backed by conviction, you don't have to fight for attention. You earn it. So it's important that you get really, really clear on who you work with. Who are you serving? What are your 3 areas of focus? Positioning yourself as an authority and allowing yourself to be presented as the one who is the trusted, advisor in that industry category. Now, I want to practice this a little bit, and I'm going to let you work for a minute because I think it's good that we're here together. So if you're on with me, I have a couple of questions that I want you to write down and fill out for me. So I'm going to drop them in the chat. The questions are, who do you actually serve? So I want you writing that down. Who do you actually serve? And does that person, that audience change based off of what you're presenting? So if you have a service-based business and one service is for a specific type of audience where the other one is for a completely different type of audience, then that's good to know. You need to be able to separate them out. Some people, no matter what their areas of focus are, have the same general audience. So it just depends on your business. So who do you actually serve? What problem do you solve? if you cannot tell me what problem you solve, you're not ready to be in business, not with that revenue stream. What problem do you solve? And what do you believe about your industry that others aren't saying? This is a big one. So when I first started my marketing agency back in 2020, before coming over to the CEO Woman, this was a really big thing for me. In the marketing world, there is ethical marketing and there's non-ethical marketing. And I've seen a lot of non-ethical marketing practices in my 17 years of being in marketing amongst various companies and so on. And I think it's important that you make sure you are aligned to something so that if need be, you can use it as your backup to saying that doesn't align with us, or that's not the conversation we're having, or that's not the gap we're filling. So what do you believe about your industry that others aren't saying? I believe that there were people in my industry taking advantage of small business owners by charging way too much for very simple basic services. And that was a really important pain point that I wanted to solve. And so I wrapped my entire business model around this gap in the industry. And doing that allowed me to stand out in a lot of different ways, but it also was the foundation to standing out consistently and long term. So I knew who I served. I remember having someone reach out to me and asking if I wanted to bid to brand a city and to build a strategy, a marketing strategy for a city. And I was really excited for the invitation. I looked at the RFP and I was reviewing it. And then I just stopped and said, this is just not what we do. It's not that we can't do it. It's just that's not who we serve and that's not what we do. And the only reason we were able to figure that out was because we were very clear on who we serve. And that was not going to serve us as a business when it came to our mission and vision. So when it comes to implementing, you should take some time to answer these questions. Who do you actually serve? What problem do you solve? And what do you believe about your industry that others aren't saying? And that right there is the foundation for standing out. So if you're watching along with me and you're doing this, if you want to comment, feel free. If you are doing the exercise, I would love to hear your responses or read your responses. And then also, sorry, I lost my live stream. I just want to make sure that I see you all. Okay. So I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I know it's a little bit early, but we walked through all the different frameworks and the questions. So keep in mind that the reality of this is that you don't need to compete with the noise. You need to become clear enough that the right people hear you. So you don't need to compete with the noise. Become so clear that the right people can hear you. And most women don't need more ideas. It's not a lack of ideas keeping them from reaching their audiences. They need structure, they need strategy, support to implement what actually works. And systems that work. Like you've got to be, if you're in an operational mindset and you're working on your business and you're bringing in a new service line or a revenue line, you've got to be able to think through it from start to finish. How does this impact you internally, externally, client-wise, staff-wise? What's the onboarding and the offboarding? You've got to get very clear. You need to have structure put into place to help protect your alignment as a business with your audience. If you're sitting there thinking like, I know I'm blending in, I'm ready to fix it. Well, that's exactly why we do this. And we would love to help you. So you can join us in our CEO Sisterhood. and join that membership and become immediately immersed with a wonderful community of women business owners. Or you can take the next step to learn more about our programs by visiting us online. I think that if you're on the fence about getting the support and help that you need, the guidance that you need, start with our sisterhood and work your way around, because you will get both inspired and informed at the same time. And you'll build new relationships that will last a lifetime with like-minded women who are pushing the boundaries in the industries that they work in. So join us, be a part of our community. And remember that clarity isn't something you stumble into, it's something you build with intention. And when you get it right, you don't just stand out, you get chosen. So I hope that was helpful for you. I look forward to seeing you guys next or on Wednesday. And happy Easter. Have a good week. Thank you.